Nova Southeastern University, the 45th Annual Commencement Exercises. Greetings, the trustees of Nova Southeastern University, the president, and the faculty bid you welcome to this joyous celebration for the conferral of degrees upon those whom the university honors for learning and diligence, and upon those whom the university charges to turn scholarships into service. Will the audience please rise and join the faculty and graduates in singing the Star-Spangled Banner. The words can be found in the front of the program. It is my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce to you Dr. Ralph Rogers, Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost. Dr. Rogers.
We welcome you all who have joined us to honor the members of the class of 2014. There are several distinguished groups seated on the platform today. At this time, I would like to recognize the members of the Nova Southeastern University Board of Trustees who are with us today on the platform. Dr. Sylvia Flores, the Grand Marshal of today's ceremony. I would also like to introduce Dr. Abraham S. Fischler, the university's President Emeritus, and Dr. George Hanberry, President and Chief Executive Officer of Nova Southeastern University. I would like now to introduce Dr. Karen Grosby, Dean of the Center for Psychological Studies, and Dr. H. Wells Singleton, Dean of the Abraham S. Fischler School of Education. Thank you. A university becomes great, not because of buildings or athletic accomplishment, but because it develops an outstanding student body through the guidance of its faculty. Also sitting on the stage with me today are distinguished members of our faculty and administration. Please rise and be recognized. Thank you. Also assisting us today for the hearing impaired is Ms. Lisa Hendrickson and Ms. Becky Blassenham from the Nationwide Interpreters Resource Incorporated. I am now privileged to ask President George Hanberry to open these commencement exercises.
Thank you, Dr. Rogers. Members of the Board of Trustees, and a very special welcome to all of our guests, and especially our guest speaker, Superintendent of Miami-Dade County Public Schools, Alberto Carvalho. I would like also to thank the orchestra led by Dr. Mark Kavanaugh, Dr. Kavanaugh and the NSU Orchestra have been doing this for 25 years. At 6 commencements a year, I think Dr. Kavanaugh and the entire orchestra need another round of applause. So it's my distinct pleasure to welcome you as Nova Southeastern University's 6th president and all of the graduates, family, friends, loved ones, to publicly witness the hard work that you will be recognized for today. Through this public witness and celebration, we indeed want you to give a warm welcome to those individuals who have assisted, nourished, thanked, cajoled, supported, financially or otherwise, all of those in the audience who are here today supporting you. You know, a lot of people could not be here to see you today walk across the stage. So we've offered a webcast, and there's literally thousands of individuals across the nation and the globe that are witnessing this ceremony online. Almost 2 weeks ago, not quite, we recognized the 70th anniversary of the landing in Normandy. Many of you are veterans. I don't think we have any veterans here who landed in Normandy, but I know that on faculty and staff and even many of our graduates have served or are serving in the United States Armed Services. I'd like for all of those individuals, both in the audience and our graduates and faculty and staff, to please stand and be recognized for their service. Hoorah. As you all embark on your lifelong journey, in whatever respective field you have undertaken, in education or psychology, or wherever your education will take you, it's fitting to have you to be, as your speaker today, the superintendent of one of the largest school districts in the nation. He is known to be a great advocate for education, not only in South Florida, but literally throughout the globe. Perhaps some of you will follow in his footsteps, and others are already making an impact in your chosen field. I am proud of each and every one of you. So as we celebrate your achievements today, it's time, it's great time. As Max Dupree said, you can't be where you need to be if you remain where you are. You have been with us now for several years, and now it's time to move from where you are. So today is about you, our graduates, with that public recognition of your academic accomplishments. But I want to take just a moment to commend the faculty members, as Dr. Rogers recognized them before, for inspiring you and teaching you and motivating you and preparing you, and hopefully unleashing your potential to lead your lives instead of being led. Many of you probably have a professor or two who are your favorites. But it's not just your favorites, it is the collective shared knowledge that they have been able to convey to you for the degree you will be receiving today. I would like to again publicly recognize the fine faculty that are here. Please give me a round of applause for them. As you know, commencements are a bittersweet opportunity, and we all experience hellos and goodbyes. But for me, this is an interesting day because Dr. H. Wells Singleton, who's been the Dean of the School of Education now for 18 years, has announced that beginning July 1, he will retire. So this is Dr. Singleton's last commencement. So it is a bittersweet day for him. Let's wish him the finest retirement and recognize him publicly for the hard work and dedication he's given to education. As you know, it's our goal as a university to provide you with the skills you need to do your job. And most importantly, for you to be leaders. And you are. Because in conversations I've had with several of you, I know that you and we have indeed unleashed that potential for you to lead. As I stated with Dr. Singleton's announcement of his retirement, commencement is indeed both a beginning and an end. And as you enter into progress of your chosen field, I hope that you think back of your relationships you've created at NSU. As the 2013-2014 school year comes to a close, I hope you keep in mind many areas of life that you've experienced here. The friends, the associates, and the colleagues you've developed. This university, because of your predecessors, close to 160,000 alumni, of which 50,000 are school teachers today. Right. Over 400 school superintendents have received their Doctorate of Education from Nova Southeastern, 40 college presidents, and as I said, 50,000 teachers have graduated from Nova Southeastern University. So regardless of where you're headed, whether it's into the classroom, clinical psychology, school counseling, postdoctoral work, you are indeed NSU. You do represent this university, and the value of your degree will be even greater tomorrow because of the success you will take and your predecessors. Today, there are over 900 of you who will receive the degree. We will be awarding through 6 commencements similar to this over 7,000 degrees: undergraduate, graduate, and professional. You're from all over the world and from right around the corner. We've got graduates today from New Jersey, New York, from Texas and California, from countries such as Brazil or Jamaica, India and Spain, as well as from right here in Fort Lauderdale, Sunrise, Hollywood, or Davie. Our oldest graduate today is 72 years old. The value of education is not limited to years. Many of you come straight from undergraduate to graduate programs from NSU or other great universities, and still others have transferred or possibly stayed out a couple of years because of the life that got in the way. Regardless, NSU students and graduates recognize one of our finest core values of giving back to the community. You have done that, and you continue to do that. The class of 2014 has contributed more than 12,000 hours to community service, whether it's in clinics, going back into the classroom, representing individuals and tutoring. The value placed on those 12,000 hours, if it was a dollar amount associated to the community service, would be over $5 million. With more than those 162,000 alumni, you are indeed representative of this university and the laurels that this university has been recognized for. Since of all of the 4,500 universities in this nation, NSU is one of 37 that has a dual category of not only a doctoral research university of high research, but one designated by Carnegie of community engaged. Only 37 universities out of more than 45 have such, 4,500 have such a designation. Let's recognize the work that those individuals and you have done. By focusing on the successful realization of a worthy goal, you indeed will be successful, whatever that worthy goal may be. As I mentioned, community is one of our core values. I'd like to leave you with one other, and that is integrity. Recently, I was reading from a survey's report from the Conference Board CEO Challenge 2014. It's a magazine for the top CEOs of the world, representing Asia, Europe, Latin America, or the United States. Of 17 qualities that CEOs, organizations, and countries are looking for, 17 qualities. Globally, the number one thing that is sought after integrity. I challenge you, as graduates of Nova Southeastern University, to live up to the admonitions of Shakespeare, who gave Polonius his words of advice to his son Laertes. This above all, to thine own self be true, as the night, the day, thou canst not be false to any man. You don't have to be a big title, or be the superintendent of schools, or the president of a university, or the president of a CEO of a corporation, or the principal, or the chief psychological analyst in clinical psychology. But you do have to be worthy of the reputation of having integrity. It's that big word that means so much, but like a mirror, if broken, it's difficult or impossible to replace. So as you graduate today, I'm not going to sugarcoat for you about your challenges for the future. You indeed, in every occupation and job that you have and will have in the future, you will be tempted, and your integrity will be questioned. If you keep your aim high above your reach and be bold and persistent in achieving your aim, but most of all, maintain your integrity, you indeed will be successful. Maintain that integrity. It's your most precious asset. Have a wonderful day and a celebration. And now I'd like to introduce Mr. Alberto M. Carvalho. Mr. Carvalho, would you please stand? I would like Dr. Singleton and Provost Rogers and Dr. Flores and Dean Crosby to please come and assist with the hooding. Alberto M. Carvalho, for more than 20 years, you have dedicated your life to educating the children of Miami-Dade County. Beginning as a science teacher at Miami-Jackson Senior High School, you advanced to the position of vice president at William Turner Technical Arts High School, launching a long and distinguished career in educational leadership. You have served as the Miami-Dade County Public Schools District Chief Communications Officer, establishing and staffing the district's first Office of Public Relations. You launched the district's first online newsroom and created its first ever comprehensive marketing plan. While serving as Associate Superintendent from 2004 to 2008, you led the school district to a record-breaking supplemental funding level of more than $400 million. You also created and launched the Parent Academy Initiative, which is designed to support community and faculty involvement and engagement across the district. The citizens of Miami-Dade County took notice of how you handled the school's district budget, worked with labor unions, and raised the profile of the school system on a national level. In November 2012, voters passed a $1.2 billion bond referendum for school construction. You received your Bachelor's of Science degree from Barry University in Miami, Florida, and your Master of Science degree in Educational Leadership from Nova Southeastern University. Your expertise has led you to be a featured speaker and panelist for many organizations and summits, including the United States House Committee for Education and the Workforce, the Florida Philanthropic Network alumni, the United Way Annual $1 Million Roundtable, the United States Department of Education, the Association for Bilingual Education Conference, and you have been featured in programs on CNN, NBC, ABC, and in publications such as the New York Times, the District Administration Magazine, and the Christian Science Monitor. In 2008, the Miami-Dade County School Board selected you to lead the county's public school system, naming you superintendent. Under your leadership, Dade schools have boasted their graduation rates to their highest point, and test scores have steadily risen. In 2012, the district won the Broad Prize, the country's highest award for urban school districts that show the greatest academic performance and improvement while reducing achievement gaps among poor and minority students. Now considered the nation's highest performing urban school system, the Miami-Dade County Public School District was named the 2014 College Board Advanced Placement Equity and Excellence District of the Year. A multiple award winner, you were selected as Florida's 2014 Superintendent of the Year, as well as the 2014 National Superintendent of the Year. In addition, one of our graduates. In addition, you were named by Scholastic Administrator as one of the Fantastic Five educators making a difference in America. Alberto M. Cavallo, in acknowledgement of your leadership, vision, and continued commitment to the education of our youth, the Board of Trustees of Nova Southeastern University is proud to confer upon you the honorary degree, Doctor of Pedagogy. Take a picture here. All yours.
Good morning. We are in South Florida, so it is appropriate perhaps to say buenos dias as well. Mr. President, members of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Provost, the deans, the leadership of this fantastic university, the faculty, the community of watching parents full of anxiety for the determination, the courage, and the expertise demonstrated here, and the most fantastic graduating class achieving advanced degrees for the year of 2014. Today is your day. Let me begin by, number one, thanking from the bottom of my bottomless heart and express my gratitude to the president of this university and the faculty for the conferral of this degree. Recognize, however, that this is not a solitary journey of one person. It is the ambition, the determination, and the design and destiny of an organization that places front and center children, quality of education, and ultimately the quality of life in our community, in our nation, and across the globe. I thought carefully and listened carefully to the words that the President mentioned before I was surprised with what is no doubt the largest diploma frame in the world. And it is interesting to speak about the size of that frame, because whether I am in an elementary school or at a university or at a commencement ceremony, invariably the same thing is said to me, and today was no different. You see, I remember not long ago walking into an elementary school, and those of you who are educators, you recognize that humility is a prized possession that you have, particularly those of you who are blessed with working in elementary schools. And the reason why I say humility is important is because I walked into this elementary school on the very first day of school. I'm wearing my best suit. My tie is just perfect. I'm feeling great. I am the superintendent of the schools, after all. I walk into this school where people are about half to one-third my size. And would you believe it, in that first classroom that I walk into, this tiny little boy with a sparkle in his eye looks up at me and he says, "You look much taller on TV." Wouldn't you know it that I walk in here today, Mr. President, feeling great about this day, your day, my day, an incredible celebration and recognition. I come across one of you who happens to be one teacher in Broward County Schools, turns to me and says, "Wow, you look much taller on TV." Now, we are recruiting, but you shall not get a job in Miami-Dade. Just kidding. If you have talent, we are hiring today, tomorrow, going to next year. But it is indeed a pleasure to be here with you today. Look, my friends, I think the President provided you with incredible words of wisdom, setting out for you a journey and a roadmap that signifies the best for your destiny, but recognize that today your destiny is of your own design. You shall be responsible for your words, your deeds, your actions, and accomplishments. You're setting forth with incredible goals, but I'm urging you to always be grounded in your souls. It is the determination, yes, the integrity, your values, your principles that shall incredibly have a powerful effect in the decision-making of your lives. Recognize this, that from the impossible to the inevitable, there's nothing but belief, skill, and will. Belief as the moral compass of attitude that you will demonstrate every single day. Skill, for there is the need for intellectual tools of action in the classroom, as teachers, as administrators, as principals, as school psychologists. And will, the forceful courage of righteousness. Very similar to what your President said, the power of integrity. That one soft skill that should be hardened in your mind and in your heart. You see, I'm encouraged by you. I understand that today is one more journey of your incredible lives. And I recognize that circumstances that precede you at a point in this arc of history that brings you here tell me that your destiny, your actions, may in fact correct a lot of the wrong that surrounds us. It is not lost to me that you have embraced, as educators and as school psychologists, a journey that will never break your bones but may break your heart, but never allow it to break your spirit. Understand that walking this final journey to this great day I am reminded of the powerful words of somebody like Tom Brokaw, incredible journalist, the voice once of America, who wrote a fantastic book which was called The Greatest Generation. Many of you probably have read it. I love the book for it detailed the incredible sacrifice and the courage of men and women who fought, and many perished storming the beaches of Normandy and Okinawa about 60 years ago. What I was a little confused about the book, and it seemed that there was a so real finality to the book, The Greatest Generation. It seemed that America had already seen its best days and actions and accomplishments, that the best Americans had already lived. I know differently. I respect, admire their contribution, but I have a pretty good feeling that I am staring out at the steely determination, the gaze of courage, of hope, passion, and compassion of the people, you, simply daring to do that which is right and righteous and rightful, may very well become the greatest generation of Americans. But it will not be easy. You see, it will take a number of things. It will take you being locally engaged but globally aware. It will take you having an attitude of passion and compassion, acknowledging that which is great and powerful at the same time as you recognize those who are in distress and in need. It will take you being skillful not only in accumulation of knowledge, but resourceful in the analysis, the management of that knowledge. It will require you being inwardly confident, but outwardly team-centric. Why? Because we are living in an era of interesting circumstances and tragedies. We're living at a time where it seems across America, political discourse full of acrimony fills the space. Where people talk so much about what needs to be done, they actually believe they did something. Where partisan bickering fills the space to the extent that solutions can never emerge out of that dialogue. And lost in a process is the vision and the belief of our America, signified by that flag, a fiber at a time, represented in the mortar of our Constitution, cemented in beliefs and values that precede us but should still live in us. So what shall it take? Recognizing I'm speaking with educators, recognizing I'm speaking with those of you who are the enablers of dreams, who are the freedom fighters of our generation, but recognizing that not only will you enable dreams, often you'll be called upon to mend broken dreams. As a school psychologist, as a leader in education, as a teacher, as an educator, as a father, a mother, a cousin, an American, often by choice, not by chance, you and I have a collective and moral responsibility to reinstill in our nation that true and tried belief that we are here, we are good, we are powerful, but we are respectful. We operate not as a single entity in this conflicted world, but as a piece of a complex puzzle. We do not live with hubris or overpowering pride. We recognize that we have global partners that can assist in our own evolution if we simply take the time to recognize theirs. You see, your concern as Americans by choice, not by chance, is one that recognizes the issues at home of poverty and immigration, of economic opportunity, as part of our nation's destiny by your own design. At the same time as you recognize the troubling signs in Ukraine, in Crimea, in Southeast Asia, in Brazil, or in Sudan. For you are locally centric but globally aware. You must do this, see, because the competition for your jobs and the jobs of those whom you will impact is no longer local, statewide, or national. It is predicted by a set of values and changes that are hard to recognize, even harder to measure. So your impact in preparing that future workforce, in preparing that new wave of American believers, is an important one you should not underestimate. It cannot be lost to you either that the social and economic and political tensions will drive policies in our own country. You are independent, intellectually superior thinkers who can change the course of our country. Do not take that responsibility lightly. Take it from an American by choice, not by chance. Somebody who across America these days is criticized and demonized. Somebody who, from a third-grade educated father and mother who left my own country at the age of 17, who worked in this nation without documents, can become superintendent of this school system. From the impossible to the inevitable, there's nothing but belief, skill, and will. Dreams can, in fact, come true. Miracles do, in fact, happen, but they require miracle workers. You are the appointed and anointed miracle workers. My friends, I tell you that if you do what I do, and many of you do, with 600 about of you graduating with an advanced degree in education, 300 of you in psychology, mainly school psychology, you and I believe that one of the greatest tragedies in our country right now is the abysmal chasm, the gap between those who are learning at grade level and those who are not. And invariably, those who are not are usually of color, of a different immigration class, and all of them happen to be poor. Those who struggle with a disability, those who face gaps. Here's what I know, and I think you would agree with me. Every single achievement gap can be traced to an opportunity gap that children faced often from birth. And unmitigated opportunity gaps emerge and evolve into achievement, academic, and learning gaps. And those, if not addressed on time, become generational, slave-like, enduring economic gaps. So the solution for our country today is no different than the solution for our country of 100 years ago. The process and the approach is different, but the solution is today, was yesterday, and will always be education. Education. It is the enabler of dreams. It is the sustaining force of democracy in our country and across the globe. Show me a nation of repression and oppression. I will show you a nation that does not embrace democracy. A nation that does not embrace democracy does not respect education. You see, I tell you this today, even though you are believers. But I tell you this today because the right thing needs to be said all the time, for any time is the right time to do and say the right thing. You are the right people who will carry out the righteous journey. Take pride in being a citizen of this new world. Take pride in being a new American in this olden land. Take pride in being an educator, a psychologist, for you are the enablers of dreams. Take pride, as Frederick Douglass said, in being builders of things that are bigger than yourselves. You see, Frederick Douglass said that it is far easier to grow a strong child than to repair a broken man. I submit to you, it is far easier to grow and build a strong city and community and nation than it is to repair a broken world. You are the cogs. You are the elements of democracy. Never, ever forget that. Let me leave you with a couple of last thoughts. Number one, all the stories that make a difference to me come from the classroom. Still, notwithstanding superintendent, still being the principal of 2 schools and still teaching in a classroom, for you ought to lead from the front, not from the rear or the top. You ought to live the life of those you say you believe in. That's where I draw my energy. So I told you about the story of this little boy who basically called me short. I'd like to leave you with a story from the field, from the impossible to the inevitable. Not that long ago, I remember inheriting a system that had many failing schools, where 90% of the children were not reading or computing at grade level, where poverty was incredibly high, 95%, 99% of the children living at or below the poverty level. Many eating their only meals in our school cafeterias. You know that journey. I know that journey. So this school was an F in one single year. Because of dramatic transformation, this school becomes an A. Incredible success. What do we as educators do when that miracle happens? We throw a party. We show up with a cartoon character, we show up with pizza, we show up with money. And that's what we did at Liberty City Elementary School. You see, Liberty City Elementary, a tiny little school of about 400 students, about a mile away from Biscayne Bay, always rated an F. This school becomes an A, and we show up, throw the kids and the faculty a party. And what I remember is going to a podium much like this one, and congratulating the students and the faculty and the community. I remember telling that Doki, a cartoon character from Discovery Channel, was there to celebrate with them. And they applauded, they were happy. Then I told them that I had a check, a financial reward check, for the school, about $13,000 for a very poor school, lots of money. They applauded a little louder. Finally, I told them that in recognition of their accomplishment, they were going to get a pizza lunch. They brought the house down. When I told them there would be pepperoni in the pizza, they went crazy. So the festivities are over, the kids are eating pizza, and if you have been to an elementary school on pizza day when the white shirt of their uniforms becomes an artistic expression, it is a fun day. So I'm walking up and down the aisles of the cafeteria, shaking hands with kids, for I believe in treating children through adult behavior. Shaking their hand, recognizing eye-to-eye contact, and expecting reciprocity. And every single child is smiling. They have tomato sauce on their ears, pepperoni in their hair, and they're shaking my hands. I come upon this one boy. I shake his hand, and instead of letting go, this boy actually holds on to my hand. Now, as an educator, as a father, you recognize that something special is happening. So I let his hand linger in mine a bit. And before I could say anything, he says to me, "I am so happy today." So I sat down next to him, and I asked him his name, and he said, "My name is AJ. AJ, why are you so happy today?" And AJ said to me, "Because I'm eating pizza." And then he quickly says, and the school year is almost over, I'm going to go to the beach. AJ tells me that he's a third grader who had been retained one time. So AJ is about 10 to 11 years old. And in my ignorance, because AJ lives in Liberty City, I ask him, "Do you like the beach, AJ?" AJ lowers his eyes and then looks back up at mine, and he says, "I don't know, I've never been." You see, AJ is a child who was born in Liberty City. He grew up smelling the salty, balmy air that blows from the Atlantic across the bay into Liberty City. He lives on the shadow of the overpass, the highway that in a very fast way carries people from the airport to South Beach. He sees the billboards with sandy white beaches and people in bathing suits. He hears commercials about that dream-like place called the beach. But AJ has never been. I tell you the story of AJ because I will never forget AJ, nor should I. It is your collective responsibility to hoist upon your shoulders the shoulders of opportunity, young boys and girls like AJ, who are looking for a solution. You see, in my world, there are no broken children. There are systems that break children's spirits. You shall be the healers. You shall allow AJ and children like him to be hoisted by you so they can see and recognize the horizon that stretches out far beyond what they see from the street corners where they're born and unfortunately where too often where they die. That is your collective responsibility. From the impossible to the inevitable, there is you. God bless you, God bless your determination, your choice of life, and God bless this great country because of you, its great people. Congratulations, today is your day.
Thank you, Dr. Carvalho. The degrees in course will now be conferred. Will all the candidates please rise?